Please tell me whether the unconquerable Bhima, who is like a cobra, has released his long-cherished anger upon the sinners. The field of battle could not tolerate even the wonderful playing of his club when he stepped on the path. Oops. Purport. Vidura knew the strengths of Bhima. Whenever Bhima was on the battlefield, his steps on the path and the wonderful playing of his club were unbearable of the enemy. Thank you. Powerful Bhima did not take steps against the sons of Dhritarashtra for a long time. Vidura's inquiry was whether he had yet released his anger, which was like that of a suffering cobra. When a cobra is released its venom after When a cobra releases its venom after long-cherished anger, its victim cannot survive. Horrible. Oma Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjanasilakaya Chakshumilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Mukham Karoti Vachalam Pangung Langayate Girim Yat Kripatam Ahang Vande Shri Gurun Dinataranam Shri Chaitanya Manobistam Stapidam Yena Bhutale Svayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Svavadantikam Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadada Shiva Sari Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Paramananda Madam Shri Chaitanya Ishwaram. Hare Krishna. So, here we hear about Bhima. Bhima is a Kshatriya. A Kshatriya is a warrior. Kshatriya means someone who protects from harm. Yeah, from protecting from harm. So this is the most important duty, as the name says already, of a Kshatriya, to protect. And maybe some of us can have some appreciation for this, right? If you see some person suffering, you want to help. If you see someone who is maybe attacked, and there's some helping urge in us. But a Kshatriya has it very strong, very, very strong. He really wants to help others, especially in suffering condition, and especially if they are like attacked. And the Kshatriya can do this because he's very strong. I was once distributing books, and there was a small punk and a big punk. You know, everyone knows what punks are. We don't have to go in details, but yeah, living on the street more or less. And the small punk, the big punk, was holding the small punk like this, and pressing him against the wall, and hitting him right in the face, right? And I was distributing books. I think I was in Dhoti and everything. And I saw that, and I had this urge to help this small punk. But then I thought, I don't know. Maybe, I don't know. I don't know what I can do. But at least the urge was there. Later I spoke with my Sankirtan leader and asked him, should I have done something? And he said, no, better not. Why you want to risk yourself, get into harm and trouble? You're a devotee, you want to distribute books, you don't risk. And there was another devotee once, he was on book distribution, and he had also a strong Kshatriya spirit, and he could not tolerate. He was distributing in Amsterdam, and two guys were running out of a jeweler store, like a jeweler store, right? Where you sell jewels. And they were robbing the place, right? And they ran out, and this devotee was also in Sankirtan, and he put the books away and ran after them. And he ran after them, and one of them turned around and a gun and shot at him. Shot him, I think, 3-4 times. Yeah. No, he survived, but it was not nice. And he went to the hospital. And everyone said, why are you running after these guys? What do you care, right? I said, somehow I wanted to do something. Huh?
I would rather have had the punk.
Right, in one sense, yes. Maybe we should have switched. Huh? I should have been in Amsterdam, and he should see the punk situation. Yeah. But the Kshatriya spirit is like this. I have to help, I have to protect, I have to make justice, I have to fight. And the Kshatriya can sacrifice himself. For a Kshatriya, it's glorious to die when he does his duty. For him, this is the highest actually. Actually, for a Kshatriya, it's the highest to die when he does his duty. He would not tolerate to I cannot fight and I'm afraid and better not save my life. No, he says, no, I'm a Kshatriya and this is my duty, like bodyguards. like real bodyguards of expensive bodyguards, right? They are trained that if it's necessary, they will sacrifice themselves. When some guy comes and shoots the politician or some guy, and he has a bodyguard, the bodyguard will jump in front and take the bullets. Actually, he has to do that. In extreme situation, he has to. He has to sacrifice his body, his life even, for protection. That means kshatriya, someone who protects from harm. Yeah. So these kshatriyas, they have this very strongly. And Bhima is such a kshatriya, and he is an extraordinary kshatriya. Extraordinary. He's very powerful. Very, very, very strong. It said he's as strong as 10,000 elephants. That's quite strong. 10,000 elephants. Be as strong as maybe half an elephant is already quite something. Huh? Then I can beat Yamaraj in arm fighting. Huh? Half an elephant could beat you, could he?
Sure.
Half?
Break my arm.
Nah, you would, break his trunk. Come on, elephant, like a small one. You fight with him. Then comes a big elephant. Yamaraj will also beat him also, yeah. 10,000 elephants? Huh? So Bhima was very powerful, very powerful. And why is he so strong? Because he has a quite strong daddy. His father is Vayu, and Vayu is the wind god. And said of all the gods, Vayu is the strongest. Somehow or other, it's the strongest. So there are many stories, of course, in the Mahabharata about Bhima. His brother is Yudhishthira, the older brother is Yudhishthira, and the younger brother is Arjuna and Nakula and Sahadeva. So he's one of the Pandavas, of course. And then there are many stories in the Mahabharata, and he's known for being, as is said here in this verse, he's kind of easily angered. Yeah, he's easily angered. Yeah, Yudhishthira is different. Yudhishthira is always calm and composed and maybe getting a little bit angry. Then, no, I shouldn't get angry. But Bhima is like immediately angry and fight and kill and do it immediately. And he has this temper. And when the Draupadi's disrobing was happening, this is when I was a Bhakta. I read the first time the Mahabharata. And when I read this story of this gambling match, I became so angry because it's so unjust. It was so dramatically explained in this Krishna Dharma's Mahabharata book. It was really, you could feel the injustice, right? Because it was like this, it's a long story, of course, but the good guy is Yudhishthira, he's the good one, and the bad one is Duryodhana. And Duryodhana, the bad one, wants to have the kingdom of Yudhishthira, the good one. And he could never get it. He could never trick him. So once he made a gambling match, a big gambling match. And he invited Yudhishthira and said, please, Yudhishthira, come, we have a little competition of gambling, just for fun. And it said when a kshatriya is challenged, if I come, and we are kshatriyas, and I challenge you to fight, you cannot refuse. You cannot say, if I come, let's fight. And you say, sorry, I have something to do, and, important appointment. You cannot do like this. Everyone will say, what are you? You're ridiculous. You have to get into any challenge which is offered. Right before it was now. Choose your weapons. What do you want? A sword, a pistol, or whatever. And we go on the field, right? And then they go, right, in former times, from movies, right? They stand back to back, and they go 20 steps, and they turn around, and then they have to shoot. And from the Wild West also, they were standing opposite of each other. I don't say, okay, no, see, no, they always say. And then he wants to shoot, and the other one is quicker, no? They always do like that. We know this from the movies. I don't know if it was real like that. But in the movies, it's always very dramatically. Goes, wow, 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 wow. Spiel mir das Lied vom Tod. I like this. No, we grew up like that. Every one of us. So it was like that. So when the Kshatriya was challenged, but this is really said like this in the scriptures, he has to fight. And then Duryodhana, he challenged him and said, please come, we have a gambling match. A game of dice. It's interesting, they had dice at that time already, right? Dice. Würfel. It's like a gambling, huh? And one can... And I don't know if the dice were as we have... Because sometimes, it's interesting, I looked into this, because sometimes when you read, sometimes Krishna was playing dice. And sometimes said he played chess in Dwarka, right? But at times it's somehow rather weird because it's somehow the same, or it is a play of chess with dice or something. It was a bit different. It's not really clear because sometimes it's probably translate the same word of this gambling as dice and sometimes as chess, which are in one sense complete opposite games, but maybe there's like a combination that you have a chess with dice or something. It's not really clear.
Chess is not gambling, right? It's just
You like chess or what?
I play sometimes.
Yeah, that's Krishna played chess, yes, so we can play chess. Then you see the Brahmacharya is playing chess, and yes, it's very sattvic. I know, it's no problem. I also sometimes like to play chess. Rarely, but sometimes. It takes too long, no? It takes so long. Oh, that's nice. Okay, anyway, so he wanted to get him into playing this dice. And when Yudhishthira, it said Yudhishthira, somehow or other, it's not really clear, it said he had a favor for chess, but at the same time he was not good. He liked to play, but at the same time he was not so good. And Duryodhan was not playing himself, but he asked his uncle Shakuni, right? Shakuni. Shakuni is the brother of Gandhari, as far as I remember. Yeah? And Shakuni, the brother, this uncle, he was one of the baddest guys in the Mahabharata. When he dies in the Mahabharata on the battlefield, in Kurukshetra, everyone is very happy. Finally, this rascal Shakuni is dead. I don't know who killed him, but he's dying then, and everyone is very happy. Because Shakuni is he's very, schadenfroh. Yeah, he's very mean, and he was really enjoying then, so he started playing this game of dice against Yudhishthira. And they started off because if these Kshatriyas play, they have to bet something. It was not just playing who will win. No. Okay, what do you bet? Okay, 500 gold coins. Okay, let's play for this 500. And he wins. Shakuni wins. Oh, I won! Yudhishthira won! What do you say now? Huh? Oh, my coins. Nice. Okay, what now? What do you have now? Again, he said, okay, some elephants. Okay. Oh, I won again! And he said he was so good, he could strike anything he wanted. He was not cheating, huh?
It was not that this bow was already made that it's always winning for Shakuni. Here, previous lecture, someone told maybe the win that they.
I don't know if he was cheating like this. It's not because they played with the same dice as far as maybe they had different dice. I don't know. It said he cheated, but it's not clear if the dice were somehow manipulated or he was just really, really good in it. Someone said he was really good.
What I heard once is that those dice of Shakuni, they were made of the bones of his kinsmen,
Okay.
relatives, and they blessed him in that way.
Yeah, okay. See, he had some mystical power of winning, right? He was really, in that sense, unbeatable. Yeah. So anytime Yudhishthira's, I put the elephants, I put my weapons, I put this, and he went higher and higher, and he lost everything. And he couldn't get out. If he would get out, it would be like a disgrace. And it went on and on and on and on. And anyway, it's a very long story with many details. And actually, they lost everything, and then they left, and then they came back, and the game was repeated, and it's actually quite convoluted. But in the last point, it was like this, that he was even putting his brothers on the wager. And he lost his brothers. Yeah. And then he put his kingdom, I think kingdom of brothers before, and then he lost the whole kingdom. And then he put himself. And then he lost himself. So they were all slaves now to Duryodhan. They lost everything. But one thing he has not put. Yeah, and Duryodhan said, one thing you haven't put? Because this was the most valuable he had. And he didn't want to put this. And who? What is that? Yeah, Draupadi, the wife. He said, I cannot play my wife, lose my wife. And he said, one thing you have left, Draupadi. And then he said, what can I do? I put Draupadi. And lost Draupadi. But Draupadi was not in this situation. She was in her room because it said she had her days, or how to say, she was in her menstruation. And it said in the Vedic times, when the lady had this time, she was very aloof. She went into her room. She had dressed only in one cloth. That meaning very simple, one sari probably somehow, and away from the whole situation. So then, when she was lost also, and actually Draupadi, her brother is Drishtadyumna, and they are twins. They were twins, and they were born from the fire. It's very interesting. They were born from fire, because okay. If you go into Mahabharata, and you know this and this and this and this, and so I cannot tell this story why they were born from fire. But it's very interesting. It said they were born from fire. This is how the child appeared, Draupadi, and Draupadi said it was like most beautiful princess, most beautiful. It's like unbelievably beautiful, Sattvic, beautiful. So anyway. So Duryodhan was very happy. I got now even Draupadi. And he said, bring her here. No, bring her here. And then there was one servant, and he went to the room of Draupadi, knocked on the door, and she opened, said, what? Said, Draupadi, you have to come to the assembly. And this was the assembly of all the Kshatriyas, all the kings. Dhritarashtra was there, and Bhima was there, and the Pandavas. It was a huge thing. And you have to come. And she asked, why? Why do you have to come? I cannot come now. I'm aloof. And he said, yeah, because Yudhishthira lost you in a gambling. And she said, what? Yeah, he lost you in a gambling. You belong now to Duryodhan. You are not his wife anymore. And she said, how did this happen? And then he explained a little bit. And then she asked this question. Can he play me away if he played already himself away before me? How can he play me away if he lost himself already? He has no will or something like. So is this right? And the servant said, I don't know. what? So then she said, then go and ask them if this is right, if I should come. And she said, ask the elders, because they are the elders. Bhishma and everyone is there. So should I go or should I not go? And then this servant went there and asked them. And Duryodhan got impatient and says, I don't care, I got here, she should come now. Go again. And he went again and knocked on the door, and she said, so what's the decision? And she said, he said, Duryodhan just wants you, don't argue. And she, no, I want to know if this is right. The Dharma has to be respected. So he went again, and he has this question. So in Mahabharata it's very detailed explained. I don't know all the steps in the detail, but then Duryodhan said to, no, who was the guy who brought her then? Dushashan, yeah. And Dushashan is the brother of Duryodhan, said, Dushashan, get her immediately. I don't want to talk about this. Get her. And then he went and he just opened the door and he grabbed Draupadi at the hair. And you have no right to protest now. You are lost to us, Kauravas. You come now. And he dragged her in this assembly. Like, this is very bad. And he dragged her in the assembly. And then there was a whole discussion. She asked all the elders, am I lost or not? And nobody could answer. And it was like a very, very dramatic. It was super dramatic. When you read this in Mahabharata, it's like so dramatic. And this poor lady and all these people. It is like completely intense. If you make a movie out of this, it's like very intense situation. And on one point then Duryodhan was really getting upset by the whole situation and said, Dushashan, just rob her of her sari, put her naked, we want to see her naked. And this is like completely crazy. Yeah. And of course, we know the story. Then he drags the sari and she holds on and he pushes, he pulls and pulls and she drags on and pulls. It goes like this. And at one point, she thought, I cannot do anything now anymore. I have to surrender to Krishna. Only Krishna can help me now. And she puts her hand up and says, Krishna, hey Govinda. But still nothing happened, and then she understood, I have to completely surrender. Just Krishna can help me now from this infamy. And she puts her arms in the air and calls, hey Govinda. And Krishna hears that and makes the sari very long. And this Dushashan pulls and pulls and pulls and pulls, and the sari is unlimitedly long. And she cannot, every time she turns around or something, and she has a huge pile of cloth already there, and he cannot disrobe her. And at one point he's like completely exhausted and says, this is not possible. Yeah. So, and in this situation, Bhima was sitting there, and Bhima was seeing this and was like, why? Because Draupadi is a little interesting story. She's the wife actually of all the 5 Pandavas. And this is from Vedic point of view not right? Because a woman cannot be married to more than one man. But it said she could do this because the Pandavas, they were like one person. Normally it's not possible that a woman is married to 2 men or 3 or something, because ego, this wouldn't work out. A man couldn't, nowadays they can't do anything, yeah. But a real man could not do like this. Ego is not working out like this. But the Pandavas, they had no ego in that sense, and they had no ego for each other. They were like one person. They were such loyal and surrendered brothers and loving brothers that they said, okay, we can even share a wife together. Very interesting, yeah? So anyways, and Bhima was sitting there and seeing this whole unjust situation, and he was boiling. He could not, how can you tolerate that? And he wanted to jump up and kill everyone. He wanted to take everyone's head and crush it with his hands. He could do like this. He could take every head. he could like this. Yeah? And he would have done, but Yudhishthira, who's the eldest brother, he said to him, no, stay. Don't do anything. We have to tolerate this. And Bhima was sitting there. He was hissing like a cobra, it said. It was terrible for him to see that. And then at one point, Duryodhana took Draupadi on his lap. What are you doing?
Read is again not working.
Huh?
Read is not working.
Okay. So, now it works? Did this help? So, and then one point he took Duryodhana took Draupadi on his lap, sitting there on his lap. And he made like this. Come, sit on my lap. So terrible. And then when Bhima saw this, he said, I swear I will crush this lap, your hip, where you made my wife sit. I will destroy you. And I will kill all the 100 sons, 99 brothers of Duryodhana. I will kill all of you. And Bhima was swearing, I will kill all of you. Every single one I will kill. And when finally this battle was in Kurukshetra, he killed every day a couple of them. Because 18 days we were fighting, every day. And sometimes when Arjuna or other Pandavas, other Yadavas had some of these brothers of Duryodhana as opposite, they went away. They said, no, you are reserved for Bhima. No, I will not fight you. Maybe I'll fight you a bit, but I will not kill you. Bhima will take care of that. And Bhima was killing everyone. And he was swearing, I will crush Duryodhana's hip. I will kill all the 100 brothers. And from Dushashan, who was taking my wife at a hair knot, I will rip out his heart and I will eat it. What? Yeah, he was so angry. He was so angry. And then in the end, I don't know on which day, when he was fighting Dushashan, he was fighting, and at one point he was fighting him and he was really doing like this. He was with his hands going to his chest. He ripped out his heart. And when this was happening, because normally this was a huge battlefield, and everyone was fighting, fighting. But when this was happening, everyone stopped fighting. The whole thing and everyone's looking at Bhima. And when Bhima was doing like this, ripping out the heart and eating it, everyone was like so shocked that the whole battle was like, wow, it's so terrible. And Bhima was enjoying his victory. So this is Bhima. There's a couple of things of Bhima, right? He was strong. And he didn't like to fight actually, because normally Kshatriyas, they have different ways of fighting. The first thing you fight is with the bow and arrow, right? This is your, not main weapon, but this is like the first weapon you have. You fight with bow and arrow, you shoot. Arjuna was like the best archer. And then you have the club, right? Keule, club was kind of the second. And then we came closer with the sword, and then you had fists. Sometimes we're fighting also like this. But Bhima didn't care too much about the bow and arrow. He was immediately going all for the club. club was his weapon. He said when he ran through the battlefield, the club was swinging, and he was killing left and right. People were flying. He was like unconquerable. Unconquerable. Yeah. And in the end, he was fighting against Duryodhan. This was like then the main battle, one of the main battles of the whole thing when he was fighting Duryodhan, because Duryodhan was the main bad guy. And it said, and also Duryodhan was a very good mace fighter, club fighter, very good. But the difference was Bhima was stronger, but Duryodhan had better technique. He had very good technique. And so they were fighting and fighting and fighting and fighting for a long time. But Duryodhan couldn't fight Bhima because Bhima was too strong, but Bhima could not defeat Duryodhan because he was too quick. So this could have gone on forever. And at one point, Krishna was standing there with Arjuna, they were staying aside, and everyone was watching this, and nothing happened for a long time. And then, how was it? Was not Krishna giving them a sign, hit him here or something? No, this was with Jarasandha, this was different.
No, with Jarasandha, this was
Yeah, this was with Jarasandha, yeah. But here Krishna wasn't doing anything, just Bhima at one point hit him on the hip, right? Yeah. Because Duryodhan jumped up and wanted to hit Bhima, and then Bhima was hitting here. Because in Kshatriya rule, it's not allowed under the belt line, right? This is also what we know now. Unter die Gürtellinie, also in boxing and things like this, you're not allowed to hit under the belt line. And also it said, like in this Kshatriya fights, it's not allowed. So he hit him under the belt line, hit him on the hip, and this broke his hip, and then he was lying there and was dying. And everyone was, oh no, Bhima, you won unfair. But he actually was swearing, but this is the hip where he wanted, where my wife was sitting, so he got it back. He got it back. And was dying. Yeah. And so this is a bit about Bhima. Of course, there are many other stories. And he's one of the main actors from the Mahabharata. And it's very entertaining. It said, I always remember this in the Bhagavad Gita in the 17th chapter. The very interesting part where it's explained how to control the mind. Isn't it? It's it's about how to control speech and mind and all this. And then Prabhupada explains in the purport that you can control the mind, isn't it? By reading the stories from the Puranas and Mahabharata. It's very interesting, huh? Because it's very interesting. Like now, I told you a couple of stories, half an hour, and everyone was awake. Sometimes philosophy and here and there, someone dozes off if you go into technical details of Vedanta or whatever, right? I was okay. What? It's too abstract, right? Why is philosophy difficult to catch? Because it's too abstract. And in order to be entertained by philosophy, you have to be kind of a thinker and abstract and have to live in these ideas, and you have to kind of understand what it means in somehow a physical way even. It has to be a kind of a picture. It has to be the ideas have to manifest in your understanding, and you can work with it. And for some they cannot, some can only sometimes do it, some don't follow, whatever. But stories are very easy to follow. That's the reason why Mahabharata, it said, is for the less intelligent people. Because everyone can listen to this and like this. Stri Dvija Bandhu Shudra, right? Stri Shudra Dvija Bandhu, it said. Prabhupada always quotes. Women, Shudras, and friends of Brahmanas. For them, Mahabharata is especially relevant. Yeah? Because they are easily entertained by that. And it's a fact. Yeah? Shudra. What does a Shudra, if you tell a Shudra, no, why are you sweeping the floor? Why are you hammering? Why are you working in the car as a car mechanic, having all these dirty hands? A little side note, I often mention that on book distribution, if you meet a guy, most of them guys, women like never, but guys, and they have dirty hands, especially here, and if on the fingernails. You see, they wash their hands, it's not they're dirty, but they have this black stuff on the fingernails. And then you have to say, oh, du bist Mechaniker oder Schlosser? And, how do you know? It's always like this, because I was also working sometimes like this. My grandfather has an ironsmith, and it's true, when you work all the time, it's difficult to avoid. Anyway, so tell a Shudra, why are you doing like this? You work hard like an ass for your 2,000 euros or something. Why don't you study law? Law books. And you make 5 to 10 to 20,000 euros a month. Once I met a stepson of a Staatsanwalt in Ulm. He was like Staatsanwalt, how was it said? Lawyer, state lawyer, right? You have the lawyer who defends the criminal, and then the state defends his law, the Staatsanwalt. I don't know how it's said in English. Everyone knows? Anyways, like a very important lawyer, and he was like 15 or 16 years old, and then he was very proudly mentioning, yeah, my stepfather is Staatsanwalt and earns 15,000 euros a month or something. And every month I get Taschengeld, 3,000 euros or something. He was like 15 years old. And I said, really? Then just give me a donation, come on. I said, no. I said, you idiot, go away. I wanted to, such a rascal.
Those who have the most.
Huh?
Always those who have the most.
It's true. Once also in another city, in Erlangen, I met a guy, he was some gay guy, but he said, I don't have to work, I'm super rich, I can do whatever I like, whenever I like, and everything is fine. I don't need this book. Also like this, super rich guy. So, so Shudras. So tell him, why don't you study law? And so, and what do Shudras say, especially on book distribution? You like to, there's some books and say, I cannot read. Yeah, on book distribution, you hear this all the time. Oh, they're even proud of it. I cannot read. Or books. Oh no, I never read a book in my whole life. You're like, book. Now, so imagine you put him in university. He has to study law books. It's like hell for him. It's like sweating, terrible. What? I cannot touch this. Oh no, a book. I want to hammer and work. Yeah. So Shudra, he cannot read, but stories are very easy. Very easy. Yeah. And Dvija Bandhu. Dvija Bandhu is the friend of a Brahmana. Bandhu means friend. Dvija. Dvija means second born. Dvija. Dvi means second, ja, born. Why second born? Because when we are born by a mother, it's a first birth. But this doesn't mean a lot. You can get born and have no education. But if you have education from a Brahmana and you get knowledge and you understand purpose of life, all this is the second birth. This is when we get the Brahmana thread, Upavitam, when we get second initiation. Actually, this is the second birth. Second initiation is the second birth. And this is Brahminical initiation. Shudra doesn't get it. He doesn't need it. But higher intelligent people, they get second initiation. And this is called Dvija. But if you are a Dvija Bandhu, meaning you are just a friend of a Brahmana, you might have a Brahmana thread, but you are not understanding, not living it. You are just a friend of a Brahmana. Dvija Bandhu, it said. So Dvija Bandhu means also less intelligent. They should also read Mahabharata. And women, because women were considered special in Vedic times. Now this might be a little bit not so clear, but in Vedic times it was very clear that women are less intelligent, more sensual, not so much inclined to study, and it was okay. They were not mistreated or ausgebeutet. Exploited. They were not exploited because of this. This was no problem. Yeah. So they also recommend to read stories of Mahabharata. Yeah. So that means only the highest intelligent people should study Vedanta and all this. And also most of our devotees, we can see we are less intelligent. Most of devotees are in one sense less intelligent. Who can really go into Vedanta and abstract concepts? Most of us like stories, most of us like it simple, and so the Hare Krishna movement presents in one sense a very simple spirituality. Chant, dance, take prasadam, read Bhagavatam, and be happy. This camera is not even on. Oh, it doesn't work. Okay. I just wondered now because just standing there, it's closed. Yeah. So even among devotees, I can see there are some who are intelligent to really study and have this strong Brahminical tendency. Yeah. Even amongst devotees. Yeah. So, but this is no problem because this is nature, this is the world, how it works. We are all different. But in Vedic times, especially, or for a decent person, intelligence is not the qualifier of respect. So nowadays, if you say women are less intelligent, like Prabhupada said this so often, We're not less intelligent, but it doesn't mean it mean, or they are like, that's the reason why they have no value or something. No, it's just a fact. And less intelligent does not mean no intelligence. They're just a bit less intelligent. But it's not bad, it's just nature, right? So in Vedic times, people who were less intelligent, even Shudras or whatever, they were not exploited because of this or mistreated. You don't offend them. Like a child is less intelligent, is small, is weak, but doesn't mean, oh, you're a little stupid, small, oh, you cannot do anything. No, in the opposite, you protect, you help, you support. Yeah. So in Vedic situation was like this. There was a hierarchy, and most intelligent, which are only Brahmanas. And it said amongst 1,000 people, one is a Brahmana. Meaning 999 people are less intelligent from a Brahminical point of view. And it's not that the Brahmana was, oh, we are most intelligent. No, they were serving the society with their intelligence. They had more intelligence. A Kshatriya is stronger. A Kshatriya is way stronger than a Brahmana. But he was serving with his strength the Brahmanas and the society. Yeah? And women, they have their qualities and their strength, and they were serving society with this. And the Shudra, which is most of the people, were serving with their workforce, manual labor, were serving the society. So everyone has his strength, and this means the whole society was a body. That's the reason why Varna Ashram Dharma and society is considered a body. Yeah? You need a head, you need the hands, you need the belly, you need the feet, you need all that the body works. So this is a unit. And so the society was feeling quite united, even being very diverse. Even being very, very diverse. So this diversity, unity in diversity. But nowadays, and it's interesting when Govinda Dev Prabhu gave the class 2 days ago, and then he mentioned that in Kali Yuga, the Varnas are fighting each other. Right? He mentioned this, and I wondered, this is a very interesting point. And I asked him where he got this from. And it's true, it's in the 12th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, in the predictions for Kali Yuga. It's mentioned that the Varnas are fighting for superiority, for political power also. And this is the situation we have now. This is the situation that the society doesn't feel itself as a unit, as a body. They fight for power, they fight for dominion. How is that? Yeah, they want to control. And everyone tries its best to be the best. Yeah. Now the Shudras, right, in communism, revolution, we don't want to have the monarchs anymore. Yeah, the capitalists, no, we control with the money system. Yeah, and some people are more intelligent, they want to be more liberal and anarchic. Yeah, and women fight against men, and men, of course, were always ruling and now have to submit to the women, and the woman wants to have the power. And the blacks, oh, so long we are mistreated, now the black power, right? Black life matters. And the gays, oh, we were never accepted, always ridiculed. Now we also want to have power, and we also will respect it, and we also mistreated all the time. And it's a time of empowering always these minorities, right? Now it's everyone wants to get empowered, huh? And because of this, they fight each other. Because it's interesting, the worst class of human being nowadays, because this is the one who had the last hundreds of years the power, is the white man. So the white man is in one sense now the target of shooting down bigotry, racism, sexism. Like the white man embodies that. The white man embodies that because the colonial white man who was ruling society and exploiting and conquering and all this, white men. So this is the target group of disempowering nowadays. Yeah. So now there comes the racism against the white men. Now comes the racism against the white men. So then maybe it happens that the white man gets dragged down and then the black woman will rule, right? Because it's like the complete opposite, yeah? The black woman will rule. And after some hundreds of years, then again, the white men will say, oh, we are mistreated by minorities, and will fight back. But I don't think it will happen because other reasons. But it's just this disunity in society. And in Vedic society, everyone knew its strength and its weakness, people were not upset because of their birth, what they got by nature. They was like, this is how it is, this is my karma, and I fulfill my dharma. This is my karma, what I got, and then I will fulfill accordingly my dharma, and everything will be right. Because they understood the major point. I am not the body. I am not the body. This is just what I got, but I can use this for become Krishna conscious. So what's the problem? And one last point. Well, Indy looks right in the watch, yes. So one last point I will make. Because nowadays this sounds so terrible if you say one is more intelligent than the other, or this and that. It's not just between men and women, it's also between races. Right? There are studies which race is more intelligent, and if you speak about that, they call you, oh God, how could you say like that? But even though it's scientifically proven that some groups are more intelligent than others, right? This is just science. Even between man and woman, it's clear that the man is a bit more intelligent. Actually, also a bit more stupid. This also. The man is more in the extremes. Woman, if you look at the curve of intelligence IQ testing, the woman is more in the middle. But the man goes also more into the extremes, meaning they are more stupid men than women, but also more intelligent. Their intelligent IQ is more spread out. But in the high IQ levels, you will find almost no woman. In the real high of 130, 140, 150. As when you look in this history, the geniuses, the scientists, the thinkers, there are almost no women. It's like 90% men, at least. Yeah. But also on the other side of the most stupid people, more criminal people, you will not find women. Also, right? It's more in the middle. Anyway, so this is just science. They found out that all this is the situation. But what I wanted to say in the end, with power, if you have power, either mental, like psychological power, or physical power, which is, you are privileged, that through this you are privileged by nature, or like say by God, or by your karma, whatever reason it is, you are privileged, and in that sense you have more rights, naturally. Maybe the law wants to kind of limit, right, like this, but from nature's point of view, you have more rights, you have more options, you can do more because you're more favored, you're more intelligent, you're more strong, whatever. And this is what they want to fight nowadays. No, we are all the same, and no one is more strong or this and that, and we are all the same and same rights. But, same right for everyone. But in Vedic society it was recognized. You are this intelligent, this strong, and this you have more rights, naturally. You use them for society. And with this come duty. And this is a very, very important point. The more rights you have because of your privileged position of being superior, immediately duty is attached. You have to do more. And the less qualified and privileged you are, the less rights you have naturally, the less duties you have. So in that sense, it's fair. Meaning the Brahmana, who is the most intelligent, one little side note is very interesting. They made this IQ testing also for races, and they found out which race and countries even have which IQ, right? And I'd like to tell you that Austrians are more intelligent than Germans. There's anyway no German here almost. Huh? Oh, you're sorry, you are German. You're the only one. No, and he is also German. Russian. Oh, here's another German. No. Austria has IQ 100. 100. And Germany has 99. Yes, we are very good. No, whatever, right? They tested even countries, yeah? And the Europeans, or the Caucasian race, it said, they are around 100. All the Europeans are around 100, plus minus 5, maybe from 95 to 105 or something. And under this are then more the Arabs and the black and all this. And above this are the Asians. The Asians are more intelligent, 110 and like this. Interesting. And the Jews are also more intelligent. So they tested also India. And India has an IQ in average, what the test made, 82. And they wondered, how is this possible? India with Sanskrit, with this high culture, with this philosophy, all this, only 82. This is like very low, actually. Very low. Yeah. And this has many reasons. I don't want to go into details. A lot of sociological understanding needs to be understood. But one interesting thing, then they tested only the Brahmanas. And they have like 120. Something like this, 110, 120. Way up above, right? The Brahmanas. And the people who migrated to America and have high-paying jobs, they also tested. All the Indians going to America, they also have very, very high, way above average. So this confirms our Shastra, that the Brahmanas are more intelligent by nature. Yeah, and the majority of people are non-Brahmanas. There's all kinds of people, Shudras, Vaishyas, whatever. Yeah, but Brahmanas are most intelligent. Even science can prove that. Yeah. So the Brahman in Vedic society was most intelligent. With this, he has way more options. Right? If you're more intelligent, you have more options. But because of his intelligence, he has more duties. What are these duties? He has to live in poverty. He has to live, he study the Shastra. He has to live very simple. So many rules. The Brahman has most rules, most duties. Then Kshatriya, less, but still a lot. And Shudra, because he's less intelligent, he has no rules. Very little rules. And this is all fair. So you can choose. You want to be in high position society? Okay, earn it. Then do it. Then live like a Brahmana. Live like simple. Live like all this. If you can do it, fine. If not, position in a situation where you don't have so many duties and you're more happy. Right? And then you're also more happy because you wouldn't be overburdened by so many duties. So I think this is a very important point in understanding all that. That according to our intelligence, to our nature, there are certain duties and rights. Rights we get, but also then duties. And in this sense, it's fair. So if a woman complains, oh, why you always say I'm less intelligent? Not always, anyways, not that in every lecture we say like this, we mentioned one. Yeah? Then, okay, then work as a man. Then work as a man. Show that you are, get more duties. But will you be happy like this? No, I'm actually happy in my situation. Or Shudra, I want to also this. Okay, then do it. Study this. Do it. Not okay. And if someone complains, oh, why do I have to get up in the morning? Why I have to shave all the time? Why do I have to renounce this and that? Okay, then maybe you're not a Brahmana, brahmachari. Then do something else. And then you're happy. But it's fine. And it's not that the Brahmanas will laugh at us, all these stupid people. No, Brahmanas are completely compassionate. Completely compassionate. And a husband who should be more strong than the wife, he will never mistreat the wife because of this. He will always take care of the wife. This is a natural tendency of a real man. A man who mistreats or beats or somehow behaves bad towards the wife, he is a loser. He is a loser. A real man will always use his strength and superiority to protect, to help the wife. And the wife will be always happy. Says, this is my husband. And there's a loyal and loving relationship. It is all fine. It's all fine. But in Kali Yuga, the people with power, whatever power, they always misuse their power. This is the problem. In other ages, they don't misuse the power, they use the power for those who need the power. Like I said in the beginning about the Kshatriya. He sacrifices his life for others. So you use your power. Hare Krishna. Thank you so much for listening to these wonderful topics about Bhima and things connected. Hare Krishna. Any questions? Yes?
No question.
Yeah? What?
It's not a question.
No? Then?
I just remembered my spiritual master once said that in the Western world, they have a focus on my rights.
Yes, exactly.
In the Asian world, they have a focus on my duty.
Might
so
be.
The focus is completely different.
Exactly. Rights and duties go hand in hand, and in the West nowadays, because we are so hedonistic and egoistic, what are my rights? My rights, my rights. What can I do? I'm allowed to do. But duty? Who speaks about duties? Nowadays, children, they even empower the children, the rights of the children. I don't know if I should say this, but my sister sued my mother because she was not getting enough money from her. Imagine. My mother said, she's completely crazy. How could you do that, Then she won. My sister won. My mother has to pay more. This is so crazy. I hope my sister doesn't see this video. I will cut this out. Yeah. So, but now it is like this, when the parents, when the child does something heavy, something wrong, and the parents say, "Don't do this, come here." The child says, "Stop, stop, stop, or I sue you. I get my lawyer. My rights, my children's rights. I drag you to court. Give me more Taschengeld." This is not fair. Right? This is crazy. This is what's going on. We give rights at times, not always, at times, to unqualified people who will misuse their rights. So rights can be only given according also to qualification, to duty. What is the duty? It's very interesting. This is Kali Yuga age. It's socially completely upside down. That Shudras are ruling the world. Democracy. Prabhupada calls it demon crazy. Demon crazy. And why? Because demos means, actually it meant the city, but anyways, it means like the public. Kratia means like the rule, the power of the demos, of the public. But the public is obviously, and everyone knows, less intelligent. The majority of people is not so intelligent. Suddenly they rule. And whatever they like, everyone has to follow. They set the standard. In Vedic times, the most intelligent, which are only a couple of them, the Brahmanas, they rule. Right? It's upside down. Now the Shudra rules. And that's the reason why the politics, all this is so crazy. Doesn't make sense. But anyway, it makes sense in an atheistic world. Because then, the societies work in the West, more or less it works. In Europe it somehow works. Yeah. But it doesn't work according to divine principles. This is in the end, it will not work out. It works out for the time being, but it doesn't work out in the end. As we see, coming more and more. Srila Prabhupada Ki, Nitai Gaur Premanande, Haribol.